Welcome to KBS World Radio. You're now tuned into Korea24's Korea Book Club, where we explore the world of Korean literature. This is our weekend replay edition, playing back our book segment from Wednesday's show. I hope you enjoy it. I'm your host, Alana Hill. And joining us this week, we have our literary critic, Barry Welch. Welcome back, Barry. Great to have you with us.
Yes, hello. It's great to be here.
Now, what book are you introducing to our listeners today?
So today's book is Midnight Timetable by Bora Chung, translated by Anton Her. And the Korean title is 한밤의 시간표. And of course, Bora Chung is the author of Cursed Bunny, which was shortlisted for both the Booker Prize and the National Book Award. And it's probably still her most famous and well-known book in translation. But this new book is a little different. It's a novel told through a series of ghost stories, all set inside a strange research institute that stores cursed objects. The main character works the night shift there and quickly discovers why people don't usually last that long in this job. There's a handkerchief filled with a family's dark history, a sneaker that refuses to let its thief escape, and even a cat that seems to know the terrible secrets of its former owners. But like Cursed Bunny, it's not just about creepy stories. Bora Chung is using these haunting little tales to dig into some serious issues, so things like animal testing, infidelity, domestic abuse, and addiction, and various other things. So it is very eerie and unsettling, but it's also smart and political, and at times even surprisingly funny. So it's the kind of book that will give you some chills, but also make you think at the same time.
Now, I have read Cursed Bunny, so when I hear, a strange research institute full of cursed objects, it does sound like Midnight Timetable kind of keeps that same blend of horror and wit that I would say made Cursed Bunny so memorable, at least for me personally. But tell us, Barry, what exactly is Midnight Timetable about? Right,
so you're absolutely right. It does have that same blend of those elements. And it is another collection of short stories, but they're interconnected stories this time. So it is a novel, technically, but it's built from these like interlocking ghost stories, which are all connected by this shadowy research center called the Institute. And the Institute catalogues haunted or cursed objects. And our narrator works the graveyard shift, so follows a literal midnight timetable. And their responsibility is, checking the doors and just, sort of cleaning up and looking after the place overnight when most of the employees aren't there. And the narrator has to follow these kind of strange rules that she's given to her by her blind sonbei, her senior. So sort of don't look back, don't look behind you. If you hear footsteps, just ignore them. You don't have to go into all the rooms. Just make sure the doors are locked and this kind of thing. And at first, you don't know why these rules are important, but of course, slowly you kind of learn why they are. And of course, the building itself doesn't behave normally. So doors vanish and corridors loop impossibly. And throughout the story, this sort of completely nondescript man materializes to say, you can't come in here, and then sort of blocks your way. And each of the rooms has its own, haunted or cursed object. So like I said, there's this delicate and beautiful handkerchief, but it's soaked in family rivalry and old violence. Very Cursed Bunny-ish, actually, in that sense. A stolen sneaker that won't stop pursuing the thief of the sneaker, and then a cat with a nail in its neck that remembers how it ended up like that, and even a prophetic sheep, which sort of appears in the stairwell. So all very strange. But the narrator gathers these tales, which are mostly second-hand tales. They're told to her by her sonbei and then by another member of staff there. And so it kind of feels like, people swapping ghost stories at sort of 2 o'clock in the morning. And what makes it a novel, not just a collection of stories, is how the pieces all sort of click and slot together eventually. So you have characters that recur, the backstories eventually come together in sort of interesting ways. And then by the end, you've sort of walked a sort of full circuit of this person's nighttime duty of this haunted institute. So it's quite compact. You can easily easily read it in one sitting. Very uncanny, strangely intimate, and just exactly what you would expect a Bora Chung haunted object museum to be like.
I think that link, though, that you're describing of it all, being linked together sounds quite different from Cursed Bunny in the sense that I felt all those chapters stood alone, and that was one of the reasons I liked it. But you definitely have my interest piqued here, Barry. Now, Barry, these stories are creepy. Is it just creepy for fun, or, as you've touched on, is there something deeper going on?
Yeah, so they are. There is something deeper going on in all of these stories. They are, very fun, very creepy, sort of perfect bite-sized scares. But every story kind of doubles as some kind of social allegory. So, like this, the handkerchief story is about sibling rivalry, domestic violence, sort of unpleasant things that have happened in history. And then we have these other things, animal testing, just the general dehumanizing churn of modern Korean society. And I think what Chong's really good at in these stories is just displaying empathy. So whether it's for women in difficult situations or people who are disabled or even animals, so they aren't kind of props for these ghost stories. It's really their suffering and their agency that drives the stories. So like you said, not every story gets a tidy resolution. And so this sort of healing aspect is sometimes not, it's only partial or it's delayed. And so this is sort of quietly devastating, right? Like, the living and the haunted carry this unfinished pain, and so this is a feature of all of the stories. And in this, the translation is very good. You get the wit and the rhythms and a sort of sly moral sting that you might associate with some of Bora Chung's other stories. But so you do have these shivers, but they have this aftertaste of thought.
It sounds unsettling in all the best ways. And Barry, who is this book for, and how do you feel it compares to Cursed Bunny?
Right, yeah, so I think you already know if you're going to be a fan of this. So if you like smart and atmospheric horror, and it is something that you can read quite quickly, then I think this is absolutely for you. Ideal for rainy or chilly evenings, very vivid, often quite wry storytelling. I think fans of Cursed Bunny will recognise Chong's voice here. It's still sharp and strange and politically alive, but there's a little bit more architecture in these sort of interlinked stories, the way they all kind of lock together inside this institute. And of course, I think people will have different highlights. I like the story about the cat. I like the story about the handkerchief. But even if you haven't read any Bora Chung before, this would be a great place to start as well, I think. And if you just want a one-line suggestion, it's a ghost story carousel where the real issue is whether the ghosts might need protection from us in the end.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. So whether you're already a fan of Bora Chung or you're new to her work, sounds like the perfect late-night read. Barry, thanks so much for joining us again and for that wonderful recommendation.
Okay, take care.
And that's all for this week's Korea Book Club. You can check out more of the works we discussed on our website at world.kbs.co.kr. Join us again next week.
KBS World Radio.